Call of Duty, one of the biggest names in the industry. It surprises no one that it is one of the largest franchises in gaming history, with 22 main games and with over 50 games if we're talking about the entire series. COD has become that old man with the most interesting lore when he was a young man. With Call of Duty Black Ops 7 being absolutely obliterated by Battlefield 6, it felt right to talk about the COD Trinity. Now what the fuck is the COD Trinity, you may ask? Well, it's Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, and Black Ops 2. Now if this angers you, I do not give a fuck. It is my opinion, and you can disagree with my opinion. Now if you disagree with it so much that you want to stop watching this video, go right ahead, I do not give a shit. But those of you who decide to stay, I will explain to you why this is the COD Trinity. Now sit back, relax, grab some popcorn, go lay in your bed, put this shit while you're asleep. I don't give a damn. Just make sure you're listening. The way I will be ranking these three masterpieces is by going into depth of what these games managed to excel at. I was able to boil it down into three categories. Number 1, story. Number 2, gameplay. And number 3, music. Each category will have little subcategories showing the unique characteristics of each game. So by just looking at the length of this video, I'm sure you realize that there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to cover all 3 games in just one video. So this is going to be cut into 3 parts. It's better this way, trust me. Now that's out the way. Are you ready? Cause I am excited. Let's get this shit, shall we? What all these games have in common is that all 3 depict a Cold War, just at different times. We have the first Cold War that started back in the 50s, which ended in the 90s alongside the Soviet Union's collapse. Then we have a modern Cold War in the 2016. In this case, there's an actual conflict between the 2 superpowers, America and Russia. Then we have a futuristic Cold War, where there's unrest in the Middle East, and China and Russia is threatening America with a drone race and a resource crisis. You know, when I was asking for a Black Ops 2 remastered, this is not what I fucking meant. Let's start from the beginning. Black Ops 1. The game that continued the franchise's meteoric rise further to the top. By 2010, Call of Duty had already hit super status, with Modern Warfare 1 and 2, and even World at War pushed the franchise higher. But the game that topped it all off at the time was Black Ops 1. It was the best-selling game that year, and there's no surprise it became so popular. The Cold War is such an elusive and mysterious time in history, a time when America and Russia were spying on each other openly, and classified operations were known to have been going on. But what was it all about? That is a question that possibly will never be answered, but Treyarch decided that this was the best place to plant the seeds of creativity, and creative they became. Part of what made this game so goddamn good was its campaign. You follow the main protagonist, Alex Mason. As soon as you start, you find yourself in an interrogation room being yelled at by dudes with a shitty voice changer. Anyways, they demand Mason to tell them, "The numbers, Mason." What do they mean? Where are they broadcast from? And Mason's all like, "I don't know anything about any numbers." And when they don't get the answers they want... By the way, this game progresses through the story with flashbacks. This is where we meet the legendary Frank Woods and Bowman, who was voiced by fucking Ice Cube. That shit blew my mind when I was a kid. We continue on this mission called Operation 40. This is a very controversial mission right off the fucking bat, because this is the Bay of Pigs invasion. This was an American organized operation to overthrow the Cuban government and possibly kill Fidel Castro in the process. In the game, we do kill Fidel Castro. Well, sort of, because later in the mission we find out the man we kill is a double. This mission pissed off the Cubans back in 2010, and Activision was like, "We do not give a shit." The days when Activision had some goddamn balls. After Mason is captured, he gets thrown into a gulag named Vorkuta, where we meet our old friend from World at War, the myth, the fucking legend, Viktor Reznov. This man leads us through an uprising within the gulag, which he managed to get hundreds of prisoners to just start killing the guards for some reason, I don't know. Prisoners single-handedly overpower the Russian military. That includes soldiers with assault rifles, shotguns, high caliber machine guns, helicopters, trucks, fucking tanks. The Soviet military was not fucking around. But Reznov wasn't either. He leads Mason and the prisoners to an armory where he blowtorches the door open and almost kills me by trapping me in a corner. Let me in there, motherfucker! Let me in there! Let me in! Let me... After I free myself from this death trap, Mason grabs a minigun and fucking blows the Soviet military away. And the only thing that stops him was fucking tear gas. Reznov, immune to tear gas, cause he's just a legendary like that, pulls us to a warehouse with 2 motorcycles where we ride off into the sunset. Reznov and Mason get married. They have 2 kids and a dog and have a beautiful house. Reznov and Mason ride to the train where Mason jumps on the train to his freedom. And Reznov stays behind and says, "For you, Mason, not for me." And Mason yells in sheer testicular heartbreak, "Reznov!" With Mason escaping for Kuda and Reznov presumably dead, Mason somehow finds his way back to the CIA where he is taking under CIA operative Jason Hudson, aka Mr. Shades. This leads us into the next legendary mission, 3 in a fucking row, USDD. Hudson and Mason are called to the Pentagon by Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara to discuss his next assignment with John F. Kennedy. This mission is basically a long cutscene, similar to the coup mission in COD 4. This mission is a masterclass at showing the player how fucked up in the head Mason is at this point. You can see Mason battling his mind the closer he gets to President Kennedy. Once he sits down with Kennedy, Mason's mind is beginning to melt because as soon as Kennedy is introduced and they begin to greet each other, the scene slows down. The TVs in the back show Kennedy's funeral and Lee Harvey Oswald's mugshot. As Kennedy talks to Mason, his mind continues to go downhill until eventually we see a horrifying scene of Mason pulling out a gun and pointing it at Kennedy. Kennedy finishes briefing Mason on taking down Dragovich, and as quickly as this mission started, it ends with Mason being sent back out on the field with Woods on our next mission named Executive Order. Next up in the game that obviously wrote the book about straight up peak badassery is Executive Order. This mission consists of Mason, Woods, Bowman, Weaver, and Brooks infiltrating the Baikonur Cosmodrome to prevent Soyuz 2 from launching another satellite into space. Sounds like a simple plan, right? Fuck you. Nothing's ever simple, cause Kravchenko has kidnapped Weaver. And wanna know what else, motherfucker? He stabbed him in the eye. So now, this has become a rescue and infiltration mission. First things first, we meet up with Brooks and Bowman. Then we walk up to the communications tower, find 2 guards blocking the entrance, Comrade Ice Cube with an extremely convincing Russian accent.
Unas problema, some noise.
Tells them to meet him around the corner. Kick the door down, start blasting, push this bitch, Comrade Ice Cube finds Weaver, and we rescue Cyclops, who is way too enthusiastic to continue the mission after losing his eye, 30 fucking minutes ago?
You able to continue on mission, Weaver? Let's do it!
After rescuing Weaver, we head for Soyuz 2. We fight a couple of dickheads and lay out this idiot and blow a hole in that fucking wall. Weaver tries to stop the launch, but doesn't prevail. Then we blow it up. Afterwards, we go on the hunt for Dragovich and kill an uncountable amount of Spetsnaz, when finally, we presumably find Dragovich's limo and blow it to smithereens. With Dragovich presumably dead, we move on to the next mission named SOG. We're thrown into Khe Sanh, Vietnam, 1968 with Hudson. The entire point of this mission is for Hudson to debrief Mason, Woods, and Bowman about a defector in Laos. Such a simple fucking task. But this is fucking Nam, baby! We're going to blow shit up. Who gives a fuck about what Hudson has to say? This is Black Ops. Shitty shitty bang bang, motherfucker! But yeah, Hudson was never able to finish his sentence. What a pussy. Hudson was able to debrief the SOC team by luring them with McDonald's at the Pentagon. We all know those fuckers were working in there.
There's a McDonald's in the Pentagon. I work at the McDonald's in the Pentagon. Yeah, there's not a bunch of spots for lunch, but it's a killer kickback living up the
Here's your fucking Big Mac, Mason.
After Mason eats his Big Mac, they fly out to Laos to find the Russian defector. Meanwhile, there's a ginormous raid going on. Civilians are dying left and right. The SOC team aren't quite sure if the defector is even alive. But Mason seems to believe otherwise. They continue till they find the defector's bunker, which has already been blown open. They clear the area, search door to door till Mason finally finds the defector and a friendly Vietcong soldier who lovingly tries to stab Mason with the knife of love because he's so happy to see him. Then Reznov fucking kills him. Reznov gives Mason a dossier. Mason comes out and introduces Reznov to Woods and Bowman, and they straight up fucking ignore him like assholes. They act like he wasn't even there, like he's some sort of fucking ghost.
Are these your men?
Woods, Bowman.
I am Reznov. Victor,
What took you so long, Mason? That intel better be worth it.
Mason needs to get better friends. Anyways, Mason and the boys scurry on over to the evac site, and the mission ends with Woods aura maxing. After Mason gets the dossier about Nova 6, we move on to the next and my favorite mission, Numbers. We find ourselves in Kowloon City, where we go in as Hudson with Weaver to capture and interrogate Daniel Clark, a well-known scientist for the Nova 6 project. While we are interrogating Clark, Spetsnaz finds our location. We fight those bastards till we rupture tanks containing Nova 6 gas. We escape through a hatch in the ceiling and find our way up to the rooftops, where the majority of the mission is set. And we cannot forget the song that plays once we get to the rooftops, where there are a fuck ton of Spetsnaz shooting at us. I love me a good soundtrack while I'm getting my ass beat. Playing this back made me realize just how much of this mission we are just getting shot at. Weaver and Hudson's kill count would make Genghis Khan shed a tear. Anyways, we reach a section of the game where Clark has to open the door for us to escape, while Hudson and Weaver have to cover him by killing at least 40 dudes before he gets that door open. But once he gets that door open, we jump for our freedom. And then Clark gets clapped. We leave with no knowledge about the numbers. But we learned about where the project's headquarters is located. In the Ural Mountains, Yamantau. Before we go to Yamantau, we learn about Project Nova from Reznov in a flashback when Mason was still in Vorkuta. This is one of the more darker missions in the game. We start the mission off with Reznov talking to us about his father during the German occupation of Stalingrad.
My father was a musician in Stalingrad. During the German occupation, the sound of his violin filled the air with magnificent music. Korsakov, Stasov, many of the great nationalist composers. To my countrymen, it was a symbol of hope. To the Germans, it was a symbol of defiance. Even now, his music still haunts me. The Nazis slit his throat while he slept. Collaborating with any Nazi is a betrayal against all of Mother Russia. Dragovich, Krashenko were not troubled by such matters. They look only to advance their own interests and agendas.
The opening of this mission is cold. You can almost feel the freezing wind. But as this mission goes on for longer, the heat of the hatred Reznov feels begins to burn hotter and hotter. Before this mission, Reznov already had a strong distrust of Dragovich and Kravchenko after they had promised to bring backup while Reznov and his men struggled in the Battle of Stalingrad. But that promise was never kept. Dmitry Petrenko was with us in this mission. It's good to see what happened after World at War. This makes Black Ops feel more like a sequel than a spin-off. Moving on, Reznov and Petrenko arrive at one of the last German bases to eliminate the remaining Nazis and capture Steiner. The fight is fierce, just like how it felt at World at War. The music, the sheer mass of destruction in this mission. you can really feel the intensity in more ways than one. Eventually, we make it to Steiner's compound, where we see him as a smug and evil man who demands to see Dragovich. Later on in the mission, we find out that Steiner is a scientist behind the creation of Nova 6. He leads us to a destroyed cargo ship that held rockets that Nova 6 contained in the bombs. They were going to use these bombs to ensure the win against the Soviet Union, USA, and Britain. However, the order was called off after the Nazis had surrendered and a Russian flag flew over Berlin. We find the gas chambers where the Germans tested the Nova 6 gas. Dragovich wanted to see the effects and thought now was a great time to remove a thorn in his side. He threw Dmitri and Reznov in the chambers, and the gas was switched on. Reznov had to watch as the gas filled the room and killed his best friend in a horrific manner. The death of his friend was so gruesome that Reznov decided right then and there that if he got out, he would not only destroy the ship, but also hunt down the men who did this. It was then when the Allied forces came in, also in search of the Nova 6 gas. Reznov was able to escape, where he has to fight not only the Allied forces, but his former comrades as well. He set up the rig timer on the missiles for 2 minutes. Then Reznov escapes the destroyed boat, while he watches it blow up and sink into the Arctic Ocean. Next up, Victor Charlie. We go further back in time where we discover the connection between the Viet Cong and the Soviets. Aside from the obvious political connections, we needed to find out if there were actual Soviets in Vietnam. Boots on the ground kind of thing. We all know the outcome. It's either Dragovich or Kravchenko. That's who we're really looking for here. On our way to northern Vietnam, our helicopter gets shot down into the water full of Viet Cong dudes in boats with 8 keys. We kill as much as we can, but eventually the helicopter goes underwater. Mason tries to get the door open so Mason Woods can get out. But then, the almighty, beautiful, powerful, handsome Victor Reznov opens the door and we escape to get our revenge on the dudes with AKs and chancletas. Once we kill them, Woods and Mason regroups with Bowman to go over the next steps. First, they need to destroy the ZPU that's been shooting birds out of the sky. Then, regroup in the village to find Kravchenko's compound. While on the way to the village, Mason primes C4s around the village to cause a big boom to announce that the Americans have arrived. Once we have efficiently blown up a village to announce our arrival, we kill the Viet Cong until we find the ZPU, and Bowman real politely and calmly says, "Mason, use the 202! After Mason blows off the ZPU, we find a rat hole. Mason and Reznov, scour the rat hole and find Kravchenko's compound. Once Reznov and Mason gather the information they need, they try to leave and accidentally activate a tripwire, which prompts Mason and Reznov to hurry out. In the end, Mason jumps onto a helicopter with Woods and Bowman on board, and Woods says the most realest shit I've ever heard.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
Now move into the next mission, Crash Site, where we investigate a Soviet cargo plane carrying Nova 6 gas that crashed over Laos. They had to head up the Mekong River to reach the crash site, killing thousands of prepared Viet Cong soldiers. The fact that they were able to do this is actually insane, but I'm not complaining. The entire sequence is literally a banger. Not only do we get to blow shit up, but we also listen to Sympathy for the Devil by the Rolling Stones. This game really put me on to rock and metal. Imagine a 7-year-old playing this game swaying to the song while I kill countless Viet Cong soldiers. That's a solid childhood moment right there. Anyways, once we kill the Mekong River's entire population, we begin to see traces of conflict and carnage along the narrow point of the river, indicating that we are nearing the crash site. Once we run up the shore, we are then ambushed by Viet Cong and Spetsnaz soldiers, who are obviously protecting something. Eventually we kill enough till we reach the crash site and find our way into the cargo hold. We find evidence of Nova 6 being dispersed after the crash due to the dead bodies exhibiting chemical damage. However, the gas is nowhere to be found in the plane. The SOG team weren't able to wrap their heads around the situation because they were suddenly surrounded by the Viet Cong and Spetsnaz. They fought valiantly till Soviet helicopters showed up and blew up the already destroyed plane. Mason miraculously comes to and watches Bowman and Woods get carried away. What makes shit worse is that Dragovich and Kravchenko appear out of nowhere to troll Mason and kick him in the face. With Mason being MIA, Hudson had no choice but to proceed with the infiltration mission in Mount Yamantau without him. If anyone were to ask me to show them a mission that gives the authentic Black Ops experience, this is the first mission I would choose. We start off with being in the boots of Mosley, the pilot of the SR-71 Blackbird we are about to fly. We hear the badass aviation talk. Then we fly away into the most beautiful cinematic in the game. We are now in control of Big Eye 6. We command Hudson's team with this cool minigame where we drop flare-like pointers to show where the team has to go. Once we lead the team indoors, Big Eye warns Hudson's team of incoming hostiles entering the building.
Wait, no. Enemy has stopped in front of the house. Enemy infantry incoming. Take them out.
Flashbang! He's dead! Он ранен! Много целей! Да я его накрыл! Keep it up!
Kilo, you are clear.
Isn't that just the coolest shit you've ever seen? I mean, aside from my abysmal aim, this is cool. They could have just ended it right here and I would have been okay with it. But they do it again.
He's down! Нас раненый! Я подержаю! Contact down! Не высовывайся! Мы сейчас! Легко! He's down! Get the cover!
Dog, this shit is fucking cool. If you're younger and you don't understand why this is cool, I'll tell you why. Because there were not many games before this one that was doing this kind of thing. Nowadays it's more common, but it's games like this that paved the way for it to be a common thing. I just had to get that out there. Okay, getting back on track. Once we blow up the short-range comm system, Hudson's team continues down the snowed mountains in search of evidence of weaponized Nova 6 gas. This is the last time we are in Big Eye's POV, but we direct Hudson's team further down the mountain, so they have to prone and camouflage due to Russian patrols walking to their direction. That's when the screen fades to white and we are finally in Hudson's POV, hiding under a log, watching the patrol walk by. Once we are in the clear, we sneakily make our way down the mountains, so we have to rappel down the steep side of the mountain to take the substation.
Ready? Ready when you are.
Once we clear it out, we make our way down to the comm stand, where we stealthily take out all the enemies in an attempt to not raise any alarms. Once that is done, we make our way into the power room, where we go in loud and disable the power, where Hudson shows his real meaty muscles, cause how is he pulling out these thick ass wires with his bare hands like that? Once we establish just how much of a Chad Hudson is, we begin to head towards the main objective. But then, a genius Russian soldier with a rocket launcher in hand shoots a damn rocket at us while he's on a frozen mountain. That totally won't go wrong, right? Holy shit, it's an avalanche! The team, mostly intact, parachute off the mountain and into the main objective, where we see Russians burning evidence of the Nova 6 gas. We quickly make our way in to salvage any kind of evidence of the weaponized Nova 6 gas. We walk into a room where the door is shut behind us, and our comms are hacked by Steiner, who says,
All across America, Dragovich has sleeper cells waiting for the signal to release the Nova 6.
Weaponized Nova 6.
The numbers broadcast. What do they
In
mean?
36 hours, the sleeper agents will receive their final orders. Only I can tell you how to stop the broadcast. I am at Rebirth Island, the Arrow Sea.
We need to leave now.
The choice is yours.
Once we get what we need, we make a grand escape, with the avalanche closely following our keisters. Once we find out about Steiner's location, the interrogator tries to press Mason about the sleeper cells and the numbers. Ultimately, they fail, and Mason mentally falls back into the next mission, Payback. This is right after Mason, Woods, and Bowman are captured. They are taken to be tortured and killed. And then, something crazy happens! What the fuck. I'm gonna just show you.
You could fucking blame him. Bowman!
Tired. I just want to end this.
You don't mean that, Bowman!
Fuck you, Charlie!
Bowman, don't!
You dead American!
Последний шанс. Играй или умирай.
You don't scare me. Communist piece of shit.
Bowman! Bowman! You fucking son of a bitch!
Next.
I'm gonna kill you all!
Don't you touch me!
What? Shit. Motherfuckers. I'm gonna make them pay.
You! No talk. Play!
What's the plan? I'm thinking.
No talk!
One chance, Mason. We'll take it. Okay.
Bang! You can't kill me! You shoot, GI, you shoot! Fuck!
This time, do it.
In line!
Ready.
Play. Bang!
6 and 8 o'clock. The Russian, now!
Let's go!
It would have been a shame not to show you this iconic scene. Fills you up with testosterone. It makes you hard! Wanna grab a hold of that damn Russian and just absolutely Yeah, we kill a bunch of dudes chasing the Russian, and then when we finally catch up to him, we blast his ass straight to Stalin's feet. Then we climb out of hell, just to leave Bowman's dead body there, which is kinda fucked up. But what do I know about war, I guess? We walk up to where a Russian helicopter is, and you guessed it,
We're gonna take it.
once we are in the helicopter, we follow the river to the end while also destroying anything and everything we see. We blow up boats, bridges, pipelines, villages, and other helicopters that try to take us down. Once we reach the end, we gear up for any kind of resistance we find ourselves fighting against. We come up to a POW camp where we find Reznov just casually hanging out. He tells us that Kravchenko is here and leads us to his office, while we kill thousands of Viet Cong on the way. Eventually we reach his office, and then we get WWE chair smacked. We see Woods try to wrestle the Siberian bear, but he is folded like an omelet. The Siberian bear comes over to Mason to claim his prize by kicking him 30 million times and saying, "Your butt is mine." But then Woods comes back and stabs the Siberian bear, but he's not out yet. He pulls the pins on his grenade belt. But wait, Woods is not done yet. Oh my god, the atomic belly flop. Who could have seen this coming? Reznov comes in to join the WWE roleplay, but he is too late. But he finds a map directing him to Steiner on Rebirth Island. Mason and Reznov now know where Steiner is located and are now on the hunt for him. Can we acknowledge that Mason has traveled hundreds of miles by himself twice? First from Fukuda to America. Now, he travels from Laos all the way to Rebirth Island. Who is this guy and how is he doing this? If Kraven the Hunter finds him in the jungle, Kraven better back down cause Mason might maul him. After Mason and Reznov make it to Rebirth, they sneakily make their way into the laboratory where Steiner is hiding. On our way through the lab, we see the experiments that were being conducted in this place. The scientists didn't discriminate on who they tested Nova 6 gas on, whether you were an animal or human. They made sure your ass was being pumped full of gas, eventually making it to the place where Steiner was hiding. And Reznov finally gets his vengeance.
Dragovich's men are rounding up everyone on the island! Those no longer essential to his plans are being executed! You must hurry before they kill me too!
Friedrich Steiner. This is the end.
I know you. Vorkuta. You don't know what we did to you.
Mason, talk to me.
Your evil has claimed the lives of many good men. No longer.
Killing me will not stop Nova.
I do not care about Nova. My name is Victor Reznov. And I will have my revenge.
I swear to God, that's how Steiner died. Reznov killed him right in front of me.
You're lying, Mason. You killed Steiner. We know you did.
Reznov got exactly what he wanted. Revenge.
As we already know, Mason and Reznov weren't the only ones looking for Steiner. 20 minutes earlier, Hudson and Weaver came in with a squad of men to infiltrate and extract Steiner. They come in hot with APCs, shooting and blowing up the Spetsnaz defense. Little did they know they had something a little special up their sleeve. A Soviet Hind comes through and blows Hudson out of his APC. Then to top it off, they drop canisters of Nova 6 gas. Hudson gathers himself, and he makes his way over to Weaver's position. We find him and his team surrounded by attack helicopters. So we pick up a rocket launcher and start blowing them out of the sky one by one till we're clear. Once we find that Weaver is good, we head for the lab, where there is a swarm of Soviet soldiers fighting tooth and nail for this goddamn place. We finally get in, where we see Mason on monitors showing that he is here. Then we see the carnage that he and Reznov had caused. Steiner calls out for help to Weaver and Hudson and urges them to hurry over. They eventually make it to his quarters.
Mason! We have to stop him now! Damn, it's bulletproof! Mason, what are you doing? We need him alive! Stand down! Stand down!
My name is Victor Reznov, and I will have my revenge!
Mason, no!
I'm fine. Check Steiner.
He's dead. What about Reznov, the defector? We need to find him.
We won't. He was never here. I didn't believe it till I saw it with my own eyes. What did they do to you in Vorkuta, Mason?
Was Steiner dead? Mason's our only link to the numbers broadcasts.
We need to bring him back.
Let's go. This way! It will take us to the dock! This is Weaver. We have the package. We're on our way.
Copy that. We're taking the docks now.
What the hell did they do to you, Mason?
With the facade finally broken and the truth revealed, the full weight of the reality of the situation is pressured to its maximum extent on everyone involved, especially since no one is anywhere closer to stopping the impending invasion of America. The interrogators decide it's time to reveal themselves in an attempt to break Mason.
Get out of here, Weaver. Tell them I failed.
You want to die with him? Your choice.
Damn it! Why can't you remember? Reznov's dead, Mason. Do you hear me? He's dead! Weaver's right. We're out of time. The Russians fucked you up. I know you. You're not a traitor.
Mason begins to wander around, manically speaking, trying to find the answers within his fried brain. He begins to get fragments of memories from when he initially was brainwashed by Dragovich.
I remember! Yeah, Bakuna!
The subject has been successfully implanted with the knowledge to translate the number sequences.
So, what is the problem?
His responses to our orders have been sporadic, unpredictable. He shows a remarkable resilience.
Why?
He is unusual, atypical. Few men possess such will. Our other test subjects have been far more successful.
We found out that though the implementation of the number sequences was successful, he resisted the changes, making it harder to find what they mean in his head, especially since Reznov is stuck in his head. Mason continues to wander, hearing voices with no source, until Hudson catches up.
The pain is difficult, isn't it? We are brothers, Mason. We are the same. Dragovich, Krashenko, Steiner, all must die.
Dragovich brainwashed you, but Reznov had plans of his own.
Mason.
Reznov, how'd you get out of Vorkuta? Never thought I'd see you alive. He was never in Vietnam. The real defector with the Nova 6 dossier died during the attack on the MAC-V. He was never in the rat tunnels.
What the fuck's wrong with you? He's here. This way. We cannot let him slip through our grasp.
He was never at Rebirth Island.
My name is Victor.
Mason!
My name is Victor Reznov, and I will have my revenge!
Mason, no!
Step 8, Reznov!
Victor Reznov's been dead for 5 years. He died at Vorkuta during the escape. All the years you thought he was with you, that was just in your mind. I trusted him.
Hudson finally breaks Mason and tries to take advantage of this clarity and plays the numbers to Mason again in a last-ditch effort to understand the message.
7, 21, 4, 2, 14, 3, 14, 7, 18, 13, 6, 22.
Do with him what you wish, General. It's my gift to you, in honor of our new relationship.
I know you! Vorkuta! You don't know what we did to you!
The subject has been successfully implanted with the knowledge to translate the number sequences.
All agents. Our new allies in Cuba have graciously permitted the construction of a new
and permanent broadcast station within their borders.
From now until Project Nova's initiation, all instructions will be broadcast from the result. Our plan to strike at the very heart of the West is now in motion. Await further instructions.
Do with him what you wish, General. It's my gift to you, in honor of our new relationship. In honor of our new relationship.
Permanent broadcast station within their borders.
All instructions will be broadcast from the result.
I know where the number station is. It's a ship. I saw it a long time ago. The Rusalka.
Where?
Cuba.
The stakes are high. Failure is not an option. We either stop the broadcast or die. No in between here. America's existence depends on it. So, as you can guess, we are pulling out all of the stops. Hudson and Mason fly in with an attack helicopter along with hundreds more to absolutely annihilate this ship's defenses. And this ship seems to have everything under the sun in terms of defenses. It had rocket launchers, anti-aircraft batteries, more dudes with rocket launchers, aerial support, even more dudes with rocket launchers. Eventually, we take care of the defenses and damage the ship to a point where I'm surprised it's even seaworthy. However, our helicopter takes a huge beating from the defenses. We fly wobbly over to the helipad and jump out just in the nick of time. Hudson and Mason get up and head towards Weaver's position inside of this ship because he found a possible location where the broadcast is located. You already know the deal. We had to kill anyone and everyone in this ship till we reach the bottom of the ship. Once we clear the ship, we find out that the broadcast is not in the ship, but rather underneath it, deep under on the sea floor. Hudson contacts the Navy and tells them to destroy the broadcast station in 15 minutes. However, Mason convinces Hudson to go with him and confirm the kill on Dragovich. They gear up and head under.
Hudson, you see the buoys?
They have to transmit from the surface. That's why we could never find the broadcast source. The structure below us. It's more than a transmitter.
It's a supply station for the Soviet submarine fleet. Part of Dragovich's plan for invasion, once the Nova 6 was released.
Once inside, the Soviets already knew about the infiltration and were ready for battle. But unfortunately for them, the plot is on our side. No matter how prepared they are, we are always going to win. We slaughter them until it's only Dragovich left. And that's exactly what happens. We destroy everything and everyone and find Dragovich.
Dragovich.
You should have been my finest agent. It would have all been so much simpler.
Dragovich!
It is simple. I'm gonna kill you.
Try to fuck with my mind. You failed.
You don't know anything.
Tried to turn me against my own. Tried to make me kill my own president.
Tried?
Come on, Mason! Mason, this way! Come on, Mason! We need to move, Mason!
We swim out of the water, with Reznov congratulating Mason on completing his mission. Then, we see this.
Mason! It is over. We won.
For now.
What the fuck? Is this supposed to be the credits? Nice and long recap of the campaign. And since you're already watching this video, chances are you already like the story. So I'll cut through the bullshit and go straight into why the story is good. It's not just because of the historical connections. It's not just because of the Modern Warfare 2 level action. And it's not just because of the characters. It's because when you put it all together, you get the goofiest story you could ever conjure. Everything that Mason is a part of has to be some of the goofiest scenarios. Let's start from the top. The interrogation room. As we saw at the end of the game, all it took was a little bit of honesty and a little bit of physical encouragement to break through Mason's programming. But no, let's spend hours of our precious time talking to Mason like we are a hacker, and we just found out where little Mason lives on Black Ops 2.
Fuck you!
Your name is Alex Mason. You were born in Fairbanks, Alaska. In 1961, you served on the CIA assassination team known as Operation 40. Is that correct?
Who the hell are you?
Is that correct?
Things could have just been so much easier, and the stakes wouldn't have been so cutthroat. That's only if the interrogation wouldn't have been so vague from the beginning. Then we go back to Operation 40, particularly the part where the B-26s start bombing Fidel's compound. Now, I don't have a problem with the bombing of the compound. It makes sense. Complete your objective while inside the chaos of war. But, what gets me a little confused is this slow-mo scene here. What the fuck is going on here? Why are these guys just chilling here like this? Everything around them is getting blown up and they're just polishing their guns. Okay, now if you think this is a little bit of a meh take, watch this shit. Literally 10 seconds later, we go up to Castro's room, and when we open the door, yep.
This is it. You ready to make history?
Excuse me, what the actual fuck?
What the fuck is this? Why is he just standing there? Brother is standing there, arguing with baby girl while there's a whole invasion happening just outside his door. And not just any invasion, an American invasion. Something Castro was terrified of. And brother was just here arguing with fine shit. Now I know what you're thinking. That is his double. That makes it even worse. Not only does this civilian have no survival instincts, but Mason and Woods never saw the whole scene to be weird or off. You'd think I'd be done with Operation 40. But nah. Why is this car indestructible? Please, someone explain to me how they got out of this. How was this plane not destroyed yet? And why did Mason jump out to destroy these cars at the end of the runway? This is literally the end of the runway. Those are fucking trees over there. Why did we even need to destroy these cars? The fucking plane is already indestructible. Why can any of the native Russian speakers notice the horrible Russian accent?
Unos problema. Some noise.
What the fuck is that? What did I just listen to? Why is there a thunder gun coming out of the wall? How are we able to have a conversation like this? We are literally getting shot at from all angles. This makes no sense. I bet you're wondering, how does all of this make the story a good one? It's simple, because within its flaws, it still manages to simultaneously immerse the player in its world and be extremely fun and badass. All of these unrealistic components make the game what it is, a game. If things were done in a simpler, more coherent way, the game would have been drastically different from what we have. In most games, things like that will subtract from the experience. However, it adds to the world, making it feel different without fully uprooting reality to the point where you just look at this and just say, what the fuck am I looking at? There are many things with the way this story is told that gives me a massive boner. And one of the biggest ones are the way the interrogation scenes are created. The way they stylize the briefing cutscenes before every mission. It's chaotic, filled with numbers, and fast-paced visuals to represent the chaos in Mason's head, while also keeping it grounded to the Cold War atmosphere. Everything feels classic and analog. And on top of that, they managed to make it feel classified, like this is something you aren't supposed to know or see, with all the classified files and seeing sentences become redacted in real time. Also, I bet you didn't notice that every brief with Mason, numbers and red are always involved, but the memories where Hudson is involved, it's blue, there are a lack of numbers, and what we see on the screen are more organized, like it's being presented on a projector. Most of the briefings go like this. Hudson grabs Mason at a moment of clarity. What we are being shown on the screen moves a little slower, but fast enough to keep up with the pace of the story. But as Mason begins to lose it, the red comes in and the distortion intensifies until we are thrown into the next mission. This is brilliant. It gives us the information that we need while also mixing the narrative and stirring the intensity, since in those moments during those cutscenes, the stake is always high. And as the missions continue, the stakes are always getting higher. So they have to keep upping up the pace in those cutscenes. They cannot give any room for you to breathe. I cannot get over the intensity increase in each cutscene. We start off intense and we somehow end up even more intense. Speaking of intensity, we gotta talk about the voice acting. We have the legendary Gary Oldman as Reznov and Clark. This man needs no introduction. He's an amazing actor, and even more amazing voice actor. It's hard to be both, to be honest. I don't know how much they paid to cast him twice like this, but they 1000% got their money's worth. However, Sam Worthington's performance was criticized a lot. I mean, look at some of these reviews. People didn't like his performance due to his accent slipping out sometimes. And I can definitely see where they are coming from. Like, here are some examples.
The US was invaded decades ago, Mason. The communists have been waiting. Now they're ready to strike.
What the fuck am I supposed to do?
You know about the sleeper cells.
I'm trying to help you.
Dragovich uses number sequences to communicate with the sleeper cells. Those numbers are broadcast from one location, Mason.
Why the hell do you think that I know where it is? Bowman! Bowman! You fucking son of a bitch! Next! I'm gonna kill you all!
NVA had surrounded the city. MACV had all but burned to the ground. The defector was surely dead.
He wasn't dead!
It was a lost cause, and you still went in. Why?
His protection team had gone dark. I couldn't accept that he was dead. I needed that fucking dossier!
As you can see, there are some slip-ups. However, in my opinion, they aren't so egregious that it takes you straight out of the story. Even with the knowledge that Sam Worthington is an Aussie, he didn't really deserve the hate he got for this performance, because he put his soul into this game. Like, who else could have executed these lines better?
Oh, the numbers! What are they saying? Reznov! Where are you? Reznov! Stop the pain! Oh my God!
Sam's voice is so iconic to me. He's forever connected to Mason in my head. That's why when Cold War came out, the voice didn't hit nearly as well as Sam's. The chemistry between Woods and Mason was so infectious. That's why they became such an explosive duo. The same can be said for Reznov and Mason. There's a reason why those numbers stuck for so long, because not only was it an interesting concept, but it's also who it's connected to. Everyone's performance was overall pretty good, except for Ice Cube. It wasn't at the same level as everyone else, but it was alright. But it was still cool to see him here. I think this was the only time he voice acted in a game like this. Aside from that, I believe that these actors gave a stellar performance. They made this game make me feel the weight of the stakes in these cutscenes. They showed a lot of emotion for men who are supposed to be in control, but the fact that they can't control the emotions parallels just how out of control the situation is. Though we don't actually see the destruction, it definitely makes you feel the fear of anticipation through the characters. It is very infectious. Huh? Hello? Black Ops? Zombies? You mean Nazi zombies? Yo! I gotta be honest. Zombies doesn't have much of an evoking storyline in Black Ops 1. The simplest way I could put it is conspiracy theories about Nazi technology if it were blown up to an extreme. Experiments on this meteor that crashed into Shinonuma that was taken by Group 935 back to the Nazis to be experimented in an attempt to take control of people's minds. It didn't work, and now a zombie outbreak happens. And now, we got these four silly guys, Richtofen, Dempsey, Takeo, and Nikolai. They fight off the hordes, and they continue to do that throughout Black Ops 1 in maps like Kino der Toten, Ascension, Shangri-La, and Moon. Richtofen is a power-hungry maniacal maniac who takes control of the zombies by switching bodies with a girl named Samantha Maxis. I bet you're asking, who the fuck is that, and how does she gain control over the zombies? Well, her pops was the leader of Group 935, Ludwig Maxis. Richtofen turned on Maxis while experimenting on the teleporter with Samantha's dog as a test subject. They teleport the dog named Fluffy, and it turns into the Hellhound when it comes back. Samantha was secretly watching, and saw all of this happen. She comes out to confront her father. Richtofen takes this opportunity to scare them into the teleporter with the aid of the Hellhound. He teleports them to Griffin Station, where she interacts with the Moon Pyramid device and takes control of the zombies. Her father tasks her to kill everyone and then detaches himself from reality. But her plan ultimately fails because she's now in Richtofen's body. That's basically the story of zombies in Black Ops 1. But that's not what captivated me. Nah. What really captivated me was the gameplay. Gameplay can mean many things. However, in this particular case, I believe gameplay is what makes a game fun. It's the foundation for a game. It's where the interaction lies. So, I'm going to start with zombies and work up from there. The core mechanics of zombies in Black Ops is pretty bare bones. To be fair, they were coming off of World at War, and they had made major improvements in every way. Fundamentally, we start off with a pistol, the glorious M1911 on round 1. We run around waiting for the zombies to spawn so we can get some points. Every shot landed on a zombie, you get 10 points. If you kill it by shooting its body, you get 60. For a headshot, it's 100. For a knife, it's 130. You get 50 points for either blowing up or limb killing a zombie, and 70 for a neck shot. So the meta way to get the maximum amount of points from a zombie in the early rounds, that's from 2 to 3, is to shoot a zombie either in the torso or leg 4 times, then knife the zombie for a whopping 170 points. Might not sound like a lot, but times that by 6, and on the first round you get 1020 points, enough to open the door and grab quick revive. In this game, everything costs points. The more points you have, the further and faster you progress. You can buy bigger guns and more perks. Speaking of perks, every map has a different set of perks, but all of them have the 4 fundamental perks. Quick revive for faster revives if you're in co-op, or self revive if you're in solo. Juggernog for extra health, speed cola for faster reloads, and double tap for faster fire rate. But other maps introduce perks like Deckshot Daiquiri for auto-aim headshots, PhD Flopper for explosive buddy flops and immunity to explosions, Stamina Up for increased stamina, and Mule Kick for a third weapon slot. Almost every map introduced a new perk, so it gave you an incentive to play all maps. But that's not the biggest reason why people played all the maps. It's all about the different elements of each map that change the game in different ways, that makes the game harder while also adding tools to relieve the pressure that the map puts on you. This allows players to get creative in the way they try to survive longer, whether it's using traps, exploiting movement, or using new perks and weapons. That's what makes this game so replayable. But we are ignoring the elephant in the room.
Any day now.
Holy Jesus! What the fuck is that?
The GOATED Pack-a-Punch. One of my favorite additions to the game. It came at the end of World at War, but it became so much more iconic in Black Ops. The beautiful pew 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 sound on the guns, I don't know how they managed to make a loud pew pew sound not fucking irritating. It actually sounds pretty satisfying, especially when it's coming from a grenade launcher or the Mustang and Sally. The pews are more extended and has a punch to it. Some sexy ass pews right there. I think the appeal is back when we were kids. Guns were pew-pews, and now they're grown-ass men that happen to work as a sound designer for Treyarch and make their childhood dream come to life. I put a lot of hours into Black Ops Zombies. The characters were hilarious. There were so many lines that stuck with me for years. Like the lights went out in my building once, and I unironically said,
"Who didn't pay electric bill?"
Here are some of my favorite lines.
2 guns is better than 1, and 1 is better than what?
Do you like my glowing green balls?
Fucker caught me napping! K to the I to the A, zombitch! It is on now, freak bags! Pew pew! Pew pew! Ha 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 ha!
I swear, these are just as iconic as SpongeBob lines. I think this is the perfect time to look at my source of high cortisol levels as a child. Multiplayer. Black Ops 1 multiplayer further solidified the identity and feel of the arcade experience in multiplayer. Nowadays, the soldiers have identities and are fucking superhuman or whatever. But in Black Ops 1, the soldiers you play are nameless, and they feel like regular soldiers. You can feel it all in the gameplay. The movement can feel fast-paced based on the maps you're playing on, but overall the soldiers have limited stamina, the jumps are real weighty. Not like Rainbow Six Siege weighty, but somewhere in between current Black Ops games and R6. It also depends on your class set. Speaking of which, class customization in this game is a lot more extensive than previous titles. While many things made a return from Modern Warfare 1 and World at War, like the perk system and weapon customization, Black Ops 1 not only brought these things back, but it added on to the formula, giving the player more options for customization. Things like reticle changes, clan tag etching on your guns, outfit changes based on your perk, and face paints. It added more to the characters, making it more custom specifically to the player. I like this customization a lot. The thing with current character customizations for operators is that there's so much customization that you have to pay for that actually limits your freedom to express yourself through the character. Especially when the character you're playing already has its own story, whereas in Black Ops 1, the soldiers are nameless. They don't have a story, so you can pretty much make up whatever the fuck you want about who you're playing as in your head. That's probably lost on most Call of Duty players because all they want to do is just hop on and sweat their asses off with anime cat ears that was made by AI and stolen from real artists. And that's fine, sort of. But who am I to judge? Spend your money on whatever you want, but I better not see you trying to defend $1 billion company when they're obviously ripping you off any chance they get. Speaking of money, Black Ops introduced COD points here. COD points were free back then, and the only way to earn them was through wager matches, which also introduced the party games we've all come to know and love. Gun games, sticks and stones, sharpshooters, and one in the chamber. I think that's where all the gambling began to breed in all of us. Cause once loot boxes came around, God did I feed into that. Anyways, these points you earn can be used to buy weapons, attachments, camos, perks, face paints, kill streaks, and contracts to get more COD points. This made the game even more replayable than it already was without it, with the prestige system. But the COD points added another layer onto it, so you'd benefit a lot if you were to play consistently. Also, since you're playing the game more and getting better at the game, you're bound to garner some kill streaks that you'd want to show off. Or even maybe a ninja defuse. It's hard to capture it all in the moment. That's when Treyarch came up with an amazing idea. What if you can rewatch your old matches? That's where theater mode came in. This was a massive addition to the game, which made Call of Duty an even bigger game than it would have been without it, because this was a breeding ground for early YouTube content creators, which gave Call of Duty a huge internet presence. Nowadays, most first-person shooters has its own theater mode, though it may not be the exact same as Call of Duty's, but it's a variation of the same concept. It didn't stop there though. Interactive maps became a thing in Black Ops 1 as well, like Launch, where you can see a rocket take off. It's really hard to ignore when that thing is flying off. And the introduction of Nuketown was in Black Ops 1. You know, that map that's been in every Treyarch game ever since. Also, another small thing, the Dolphin Dive also became a thing in Black Ops, and now it's a common occurrence in all Call of Duty games across the board. We cannot forget the weapon sounds as well. The gunshots and the reloading sound effects. Like, come on man. Listen to the M1911 reload. That sounds so good. It's kind of ridiculous how euphoric these guns sound. The sound design in this game is top tier, aside from the fact that the explosion sound effects are everywhere in different tones. Like shotguns literally sound exactly the same as a grenade exploding. For some people that might get real annoying, but for me, the explosions sound really nice in my ears, so it doesn't really bother me as much as it should. Speaking of sound, let's finally show these composers some love, because the music is just as iconic as the rest of the game. For this section of the video, my favorite song from each composer that we will be discussing will be playing in the background. I'll put it on the screen as well, just in case you don't know the name. Okay, so, the main composer for Black Ops 1 was Sean Murray. He's the one who created the score for the campaign and main theme. Every song you could think of, Pentagon, Rooftops, Virus, any song throughout the campaign, Sean Murray curated it with his massive brain. Composers like Sean Murray don't get enough credit, because without the songs that he had created, a lot of the emotional beats and intense moments in the game wouldn't have felt as impactful without these compositions. The entire soundtrack is a masterclass, and I can tell you right now, I can pinpoint where each song from the official soundtrack plays, because it encapsulates the environment so well. Sean Murray is a GOAT, and I hope he knows it. Kinda sad he didn't return. Kevin Sherwood, Brian Toohey, and James McCauley all worked on the zombie score and audio, including the zombies main theme. Kevin Sherwood was the main man working on the zombie score that brought us some of the most iconic music to kill zombies to, like 115, Pareidolia. He is one of the reasons why metal and rock was such a big part of my life. His daunting riffs, his head-pounding kick drums, Elena Sigmund's angelically demonic voice. Kevin Sherwood is a major reason why Zombies is as iconic as it is today. That is why Treyarch keeps bringing him back. I am of a firm believer, as soon as they replace him, that's when Call of Duty Zombies truly dies. Brian Toohey is severely underrated. He was the mastermind behind the loading screen songs, Easter egg songs, and overall soundscape that sets the tone for Zombies. He composed Twilight for Dead Ops Arcade, WTF, Samantha's Lullaby, and Samantha's Reveal for Moon. He also collaborated with Kevin to create Damned. Later on in the franchise, Brian had created the different variations of Damned. Personally, for Brian Toohey, my favorite song he composed is not in Black Ops 1. Since he's more of a soundscape composer in this game, his songs usually aren't in the forefront of the soundtrack, especially in the official soundtracks. On to James McCauley. His work was mainly for Dead Ops Arcade. Though his contributions was limited to Dead Ops Arcade, the songs were still extremely good and iconic. I unironically listen to these songs while I'm chilling throughout my day. I know I didn't mention Dead Ops Arcade at all in this video, and I apologize to all the Dead Ops Arcade fans out there. I just totally left y'all out. But the truth is, I played Dead Ops Arcade a grand total of 5 times in my lifetime, so I don't exactly feel qualified enough to speak on it. But if y'all want to see me talk about it, let me know. I'll quench that thirst for you. Anyways, the music in this game is more versatile than most games that came out during that time. And the fact that most of these songs in the duo soundtracks became timeless classics among not only Call of Duty fans, but gaming fans in general. That is why Call of Duty Black Ops 1 is part of the COD Trinity. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. Not only are you a trooper, but you are a real Call of Duty fan. This video is my love letter to the original Black Ops game, and I just want to thank you for listening. Feel free to share what you love about Black Ops in the comments. I'd love to share the love with this community. Well, that's it for now. I'll see you again when it's time to talk about the legendary Modern Warfare 2.